What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Jenks Island Podcast, the only NFL podcast a year takes from a washed-up Division III quarterback. I'm your host, Grayson Jenkins, joined by my good friend Sterb here. And in today's episode, we're going to be giving our predictions for the NFL awards. Then we're going to be predicting the NFL playoff teams for the upcoming season. We'll be giving seedings as well, but those are kind of rough. And then we'll be predicting the Super Bowl as well, the Super Bowl winner, I should say. Quick interruption here from the episode for a fun announcement. We're going to be doing another pick'em group for the upcoming 2025 season. And just like last year, we'll be giving away an NFL jersey of choice to whoever wins at the end of the year. Our only restriction for winning that jersey is that you subscribe to the channel. So make sure to click the link right here down below to join that group and hit subscribe, and you'll be eligible to win a jersey of your choice. We look forward to competing with you guys week in, week out. Let's get back to the episode. So getting into the starting topic of the day, we'll be doing NFL awards first. And the big award should come first, right? So we'll go with MVP to start off the episode. Sterb, who's going to be your pick for the MVP?
Yeah, so I really think this is kind of just between like three guys. You know, it's Lamar, it's Patrick Mahomes, and it's Josh Allen. I think that really like the outside shots. I'm looking at FanDuel odds here, like Jane Daniels has like plus 1,000 odds. Then Jordan Love is next at plus 1,600. Those could be good teams, but you know, you kind of need to be a top 3 seed and be like a stellar elite quarterback, which kind of goes hand in hand. Yeah. I think it's probably going to be Josh Allen this year. There was some discourse of like whether he deserved it over Lamar last year. They both had absolutely incredible seasons. And honestly, looking back at it, I feel like maybe Lamar deserved it a little more. Like it might be one of the best regular seasons we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. But these guys are in the same tier of skill level, and I'm going to go Josh here. He gets his second in a row. Yeah, no, I think I agree with you here on the Lamar Jackson last year take. That's what I was thinking is 2 years ago, it should have been Josh Allen. And the season he had was like ridiculous in comparison to Lamar. And then last year, Lamar Jackson had the better season than him and lost. So it kind of seemed like it was like a flip-flop situation where they should have won. They're trading each other's awards.
Yeah, they both should have won
maybe Lamar wins it this year and then Josh wins it.
Exactly. You know? Maybe they keep flip-flopping. But yeah, I did pick Josh Allen as well to win this year. And I think it's because he truly is the most valuable player to his team, right? Lamar Jackson, we've seen the Ravens build around him better than the Bills have around Josh. I think the Ravens this year especially have better talent around Lamar than the Bills do around Josh. Like we see that receiver room, right? Like, yes, Keon Coleman was like a solid addition for them, but then you just have Khalil Shakir and then a bunch of like mid-level receivers. They haven't gone and gotten like a true weapon for Josh Allen. And I mean, you still have James Cook there as well, but that team, Josh Allen truly is the engine of it, whereas Lamar Jackson still the engine of the team, but he has more around him. And then I had like as a third option would be Jaden Daniels for me, but I just feel like that situation he'd have to do a whole lot to get above those two guys. And then dark horse here, I just wanted to mention this real quick. Dark horse would be Bo Nix, and I know that's like people are gonna say, oh, he like still glazing.
I considered it.
The Broncos,
it for
like,
sure.
He's someone with Sean Payton right now. If they go out and they dethrone the Chiefs for the first time in however many years, the Broncos will be in that consideration. And like Bo Nix would be up for that award if he has a good season. And
he's a good statistical quarterback, you know, and
exactly
that'd be a big narrative if they dethrone the Chiefs and win the division. It's a good team around him. Like the team defense is also awesome. The only fear is that like maybe Sean Payton and the defense get a little more credit than, you know, Bo Nix shining, but you know, if he throws for 4,600, he could be in the conversation, you know? So I like him as a dark horse as well.
And he's like, if you look at that offense, and obviously like the players aren't the same, and I'm not like comparing them, but in this offense, like he is the Drew Brees of the offense for Sean Payton. So that's kind of, they're going to be throwing the ball a good amount. And I think they'll be getting more of that Saints style offense we were accustomed to when Drew was there a few years ago. And I just want to say this: if Josh Allen does win, he'd be only the third quarterback or the third MVP to repeat in back-to-back years since 2000. So it was Peyton Manning and then Aaron Rodgers, and he would be the third person to do that in a long time. Moving on to Offensive Player of the Year here. This is where this one's a little bit fun, Sterb. We were talking about this before the episode, but what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so Honestly, like I feel like this is definitely the hardest one to pick. There's like, geez, like 9 guys who could realistically win it in my mind, and we kind of see that with the odds. Like, AJ Brown is probably, what is that, like the 17th ranked player, and he's only at like plus 4,000. Yeah, it's low. Crazy deep. So, I mean, you're kind of just calling your shot here, and when I'm like that, I kind of just want to pick one of my guys. So I'm going Nico Collins here. I think he can push for like an 1,800 yard season. He's a touchdown threat. He's going to have big primetime games. The Texans are no strangers to the moment at this point. Nick Haley's coming in with that new offense. You know, it's inspiring some confidence. And even like last year, he was the only one pacing with Jamar before he got injured. And I remember when he first got injured and he had been out for a week, he was still the odds-on favorite to lead the league in receiving yards, which is absolutely nuts. So on like a per game basis, Nico is just insane. And another guy I could potentially see winning is Bijan Robinson. Again, you kind of need to be on like a top 5 offense and a playoff team to win this. So maybe Falcons are a little shaky there, but I think he's just going to get so much work. He's just going to get fed the ball. So those are like my top 2 there, but I'm going with Nico.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I don't mind the Nico take. I think that's a fun take on this award, because it is truly, like you said, like those odds are all over the place. There's a lot of guys that are all near each other, and it's just kind of picking whatever receiver or running back that you think is going to have the biggest year. I know some people were like Brock Bowers, maybe like even last year, like Brock Bowers had like a really good year, and
they're not going to give it to a
tight end. Yeah. No tight end is winning this award anytime soon. It's just kind of how the league is.
If he didn't win Rookie of the Year, he's not going to win this.
Yeah, and he was kind of robbed last year, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But for this award, I'm going to have to go with Jamar Chase, right? He would be the 5th receiver to ever win this award, and it's seemingly right. Like we were talking about this before the episode too, is he had the Triple Crown last year, and some people can view the Triple Crown as really, really important, but also you could kind of see like someone could miss out on the Triple Crown and have have a really good season just by missing by 2 catches or something like that. Like the Triple Crown is a little bit arbitrary, but the way he did it, like all of his stats were good in every single level. Like we're extremely elite level. So I think he'll do a similar thing this year with the Bengals defense basically being the exact same. I don't really think they improved at all. They didn't really get worse either. So I think the Bengals are pretty much in the same spot. And I think Joe Burrow and him will have the same connection. The second guy I picked was CD, just because I think that they're basically the Bengals of the NFC now, right? With the Micah Parsons trade. And we're going to try to make a bonus episode if we can, breaking that down. But I just think CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, those are my top 2. Dark horse, if I had to pick a running back, that would be like a dark horse. I know Gibbs, Bijan, Saquon, like those are all up in the top range. Dark horse, I went like this is my league winner for fantasy, but it's going to be Chase Brown. And I think in that offense, right, they're going to be using him at a ridiculous level. We saw it in the preseason. He was getting more than 50% of touches. Just every single time he's on the field, he's getting more than 50% of the touches on the field, whether that be a catch or a run. And I think he's going to have a good amount of production. And I think the touchdowns are going to be there too once they get to the red zone. So he's a dark horse to win that. But I just wanted to put that name out there. Moving on to Defensive Player of the Year, Sterb, who's going to be your pick?
Yeah, so I was scrolling through the odds this morning, and randomly Micah Parsons disappeared. I was considering him. I think he was like 3rd in the odds before this, and I was like, I don't know if he's really going to have the team success, because normally it's a really good team. It's more of like a best player on the best defense award, and that oftentimes just is the most valuable defensive player as well. And I was scrolling and he disappeared, and I'm like, oh, what happened? See my phone blowing up. That's when the Micah Parsons trade hit. So I think he's like plus 500 now is what I'm seeing. And he was like plus 850 before. I'm smashing that all day. That's insane value right there. I think this is like a stamped and sealed as much as you can get it, like Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I don't think it's going to be someone in the secondary. It's normally an edge rusher. Pat Surtain was kind of an outlier last year. They're not going to give it to him twice in a row, even if he's deserving of it. So I think like the storyline is just crazy, like big blockbuster trade in the middle of the season. He comes in, has 15 sacks, turns the defense from a good unit to where they were like top 8 last year, I believe, to like a top 3-4 unit. And I could really see that. And he has so much around him as well that it could be a great defensive unit. And he's the star of it now.
Yeah. And I think for this, I'm going to have him as the lock as well for defensive player of the year. I think the real discussion with this would be like, if their corners aren't good enough, maybe the defense, like, maybe the passing game against them could be like, all right, maybe people are getting the ball out before we can get to them, but I don't think it's gonna be too much of an effect. I think he's still gonna ball out and have a really productive season. And I think, like you said, for this award, for a defensive back to win, it is very, very rare. And it's kind of an outlier. It's mainly the defensive linemen because they get the more sacks, they get more production, and it's more impactful, right? If you're a guy getting 15 sacks, like, you're noticing that more than a guy that's getting 5 or 6 picks on the season. So it's more noticeable. So I basically just wrote off all the defensive backs, looked at the D linemen, and it's really between Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson. I think Trey Hendrickson could have good odds too, but their defense isn't going to be good enough. Like, he's going to have the production, but I don't think the defense is going to be good enough, anything like that, to be discussed. So I got to pick Micah Parsons for this one as well.
Yeah, it really should be split into like secondary player of the year and then like frontline player of the year. But
yeah, they just, a lot of these awards are all over the place. Like, right, like the MVP, it's just become a quarterback award. If there's a running back or someone that is truly the most valuable, like, they just don't care. That's the offensive player of the year, and then the MVP is going to be a quarterback. So they should divvy it up a little bit, but it's whatever. Moving on to the rookies here, offensive rookie of the year, Sterb, who's going to be your pick?
For me, it's kind of like a 2-horse race between Cam Ward and Ashton Jeanty. Like, Ashton Jeanty's plus 250, Cam Ward's plus 300. Yep. I think I'm going to go Ashton Jeanty here. People could say like, oh yeah, maybe a quarterback shouldn't win it all the time. As we saw last year, like Brock Bowers was definitely deserving of it. Not saying like Jaden Daniels is, not a rookie of the year level player. But I think I'm going to go Ashton Jeanty here. He's just going to get fed in the offense, and he's an absolute beast. So I feel like it's a pretty good pick here.
Yeah, I like it. I have him at second right now, and then I do have Cam Ward as my pick. I just think the quarterback, right? Like, the NFL values quarterbacks for these awards just so much more over the skills guys, which, like, honestly, like, I think it's a little bit unfair because the quarterback's touching the ball every single play. If you're an offensive player, if you're a running back or a receiver,
well, Jeanty might be close to that.
Yeah, he definitely could be in this Raiders offense. Like, the Raiders offense, I just don't know what to expect from them, right? They just added Amari Cooper, who could just be like pure vet presence. Like, maybe they don't really include him that much, but Brock Bowers, now you have Jacoby Myers, Amari Cooper, you got Deontay Thornton, Jack Besh. Like, you have absolutely all these guys. Just who's getting the ball? Ashton Jeanty might be getting the ball that much, but you never really know. My dark horse for that one would have to be T-Mac. I think T-Mac has a good shot at winning that, just because I think he's going to have a pretty big impact on that Carolina offense. But again, it's usually like a better team, or if you really need to have like great production to be identified as like one of the top rookies. So
any like the first round wide receivers I like as well, like Travis Hunter, Mecca Ibuka, Matthew Golden. Like, those guys could all win it. They kind of need to hit like that, probably 12, 50-yard mark at least, though. If anyone says Jackson Dart, I'm going to throw up. So
because Brian Thomas last year, I'm trying to think. I don't remember how many yards he ended up with.
It was like right around 1,300.
Yeah, he had 1,282 and 10 touchdowns. So if he can't win, right, like, it's tough for a receiver to win. And that's what kind of we were just saying, is that these quarterbacks, Cam Ward was named a captain. Like, the Titans are going to be completely just throwing the season in his hands. And I think he has a shot at kind of just going out and winning it. Next, defensive rookie of the year. I think this one's going to be pretty quick. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be Abdul Carter. Like, if he's healthy, there's pretty much no other pick. There's really not much to say. Like, these like high profile guys that are like top 5 picks, they're going to win it every time.
And he has like so much around him on that line, so they can't just focus on him. They can't just they can't just shift the D line to focus on him. They can't double him every play. Otherwise, the other guys would be feasting. So he's going to have a good amount of production. The only other name I just want to toss out there is Will Johnson. I could see him having a big impact.
Yeah, I thought about that.
But I just I just think Abdul Carr is going to blow everyone else out of the water. So I think that's the easy pick there.
Yeah.
Next, moving on to comeback player of the year. This one has seemingly different like perspectives by every single person that wants to vote or think about this award. So what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this one is so confusing. Like I remember like Sam Darnold was like first in the odds, and then like something came out, and then he went down because AP does their criteria a little differently. I don't know what, like, okay, for a player to come back, right? They have to have first played in the NFL. So why is JJ McCarthy fifth?
I'm glad you brought that up.
That doesn't make any sense.
It made no sense.
If it was
he hasn't
like
played it down.
The arrival, the arrival of the year award.
He looked good in the preseason. He looked good in the preseason last year. So I guess maybe that's what people are considering. But
he didn't play in the NFL though. Like it. Yeah, that makes no sense to me. This is pretty much Hutchinson's award to lose. Like Dak, maybe. I feel like their offense is gonna, or their team is gonna have to win a decent amount of games for that. This isn't like a award where you're eliminated if you're like not a playoff team. But like Hutchinson, that defense was really good last year, even without him. But I think they take it to another level when he's there. So I think if he gets like probably anywhere north of like 14.5 sacks is probably his award. There are some other guys that I like too, though, like Trevor Lawrence. I don't really see how he steps in and Liam Cohen doesn't get the bulk of the credit, though. So, I mean, these awards are like all about narrative, so you kind of just got to pick and choose.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that the three guys that I was looking at, right, were Dak, Aiden Hutchinson, and Trevor Lawrence. And CMC obviously is the third favorite right now. He's at plus 300. And I could see that, but I just think CMC is still going to have like some injury issues throughout the season. Like we haven't seen him. He's just a lottery ticket, right, to stay healthy. Whereas Dak Prescott, I think he's going to be throwing the ball a whole lot. It's going to be a Joe Burrow type season for him this year, especially with this trade. So I think he's definitely the favorite for me, at least. Aiden Hutchinson, if he does anything close to what he did, at least even at like that sample size that he had for the first few games last season, if he spreads that throughout this season, it's a lock. Like if he just does anything similar, he'll win.
I think that's pretty much impossible. Like he was on a pace for like 30 something sacks. Like it's not
wild. It was wild. And for him, he was facing, we talked about this in the group chat a lot.
Yeah. I won't bring it up, but he was facing really not good competition at all.
Yeah. Not the best tackles or anything. So the pass rush, obviously the stats were a little inflated. But he's definitely a guy that I could see
but he's
winning.
Still a fantastic player,
Definitely. And my pick will be Dak Prescott because I think they kind of do lean towards the quarterbacks. Like we've seen, what is it? Since 2017, it's been only quarterbacks. So I'm going to give it to Dak for this one. Fair. And it's wild. Like Damar Hamlin, right? He died on the field. Like he actually died on the field and then they didn't give it to him. So it's like, what is the like real comeback here for, And so I'll give it to Dak Prescott. Another player I want to shout out is, and we've been saying his name all offseason, Rashid Shaheed from the injuries. I don't know if that is a shock to you. I don't know if that was like a surprise, but Rashid Shaheed is a name that if he goes out and puts up 1,300 yards, which is possible, like it is possible. I know like a lot of people can be like, oh, you're an idiot. Shut the hell up. Like get up. Like, I think it's possible for Rashid Shaheed in this offense because of the way they're going to be using him in the crossing routes, things like that. And we've seen it in the preseason and training camp. Like all the Saints fans know, the beat reporters have been talking about it. The guy's been going off. So they're really trying to get him involved. If he has a 1,300-yard season, it'd be his breakout year after coming back from a major knee injury. So that could be something where that's considered. And that would be similar along the lines of the Keenan Allen and Jordy Nelsons, who came back from major injuries and put up 1,300 yards and then won the award. So that's kind of the threshold there for me.
We need like a Rashid Shaheed mention counter or something.
Yeah, someone has to just keep tally. Someone start just putting in the comments down below how many times we mention it. That'd be great. Moving on to coach of the year. Who's going to be your pick for this one?
I kind of hinted at it earlier. I think I'm going to go Liam Cohen here. I think the Jags offense is going to look like super good. And that might just be like oh, you have all this talent here. Of course it's going to look good. But, in the Bucks, like they had a good amount of talent too. Like they had Tristan Wirfs. They had, Mike Evans. You got Chris Godwin there. Like they had a lot of talent around the Bucks offense as well. And I think Liam Cohen's just like, he's an offensive genius. Like I feel very good about this one. I see like Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel. The problem with this is that like there's gonna be a team that everyone thinks is gonna win around like 6 games, and then they're just gonna blow everyone out of the water, like Dan Quinn and the Commanders last year. He was in the race till the very end. I can't remember if he won it or not. I'm blanking, but there's gonna be a team like that.
Last year it was Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Shaky quarterback play, whatever. And it's going to be a team that's expected to win like 6 or 7 games, and then makes the playoffs, and that's shocking everyone.
And that's sort of what the Vikings were. Like no one really expected the Vikings right after losing Kirk. Like no one expected Sam Darnold to come and be able to like steer the ship. So I think, like you just said, like that's kind of what the criteria has been recently, is that there's an iffy quarterback where the coach leads the team to a good amount of victories. And that's the only reason I didn't pick Liam Cohen, just because I don't know if they'll reach the win threshold that I think that the award kind of like goes after. I would say Brian Dable won it a few years ago, and he was like, they were teetering on that win threshold. So it's going to be close. Liam Cohen was definitely in my list of guys to pick from. But in the end, I ended up picking Sean Payton here to win this award. I think if he, like I said earlier with the Bo Nix, like dark horse mention, if he leads the Broncos to knocking off the Chiefs and he has a really strong season there, you could say that he turned that team around from a major hole with like the Russell Wilson situation, and it completely turned the team around. And that could be a coach of the year situation for him. He hasn't won the award since 2006 with the Saints. And some people are comparing this team, right, to like those early years of the Saints there in New Orleans. So an interesting discussion it could be made. My second guy would be like Mike Vrabel, right? Because I think Drake May, younger quarterback, iffy situation, but they could be a team that gets that win threshold as well.
And the media loves Vrabel.
Yeah. I think Vrabel's a really good coach. I do like the Liam Cohen choice because I think that offense really is going to be humming. I just don't know if they're going to be like where in that spot, right? The playoffs.
Me and my Jags.
Yeah, so we had a dynasty draft. This guy has like 4 or 5 Jaguars on the team. It's a mess. But I mean, they were value picks at the place he was picking, so it made sense, but definitely iffy. So that'll do it for our award predictions. Moving on to the playoff teams, the playoff seedings. Sterb, who's going to be your AFC playoff seedings?
Should I go like 7-1 or 1-7?
Whatever you feel, man. I would say 7-1. 7-1.
Okay. So at 7, I'm going to have the Jaguars. I do have them sneaking in the playoffs. I think they'll be like a 10-win team. Maybe they sneak in with 9-8, but in the AFC, probably not. At number 6, I have the Jaguars again.
Jaguars, they're just making it. They're winning them all. Yeah.
Yeah. At number 6, I have the Chargers. I do still believe in this team, even though Rashawn Slater's down. I got a lot of faith in Herbert. I got a lot of faith in, oh God, Jim Harbaugh. I'm blinking on the name. The ref cam like meme is staring me in the face.
He has so many good memes, but
I know they're so good. Yeah, love Harbaugh. Yeah, I got a lot of faith in Harbaugh in year 2. So I got the Chargers at 6, and then 5, like you just mentioned, with the Broncos. This is just like a really strong division, so I think 3 teams get in. You can probably guess the last one. 4, I'm going to have the Texans. I think the Texans have easily a top 3 defense in the league. And then like the offense, you kind of just need to be like 14th or 15th best at the minimum, and I think they should be here. It's kind of a weaker division. Like I know I have the Jaguars at 7, but that's not a common take. And then 3, I have Chiefs. Maybe they get back to like their regular season form. They won 15 games last year. But I do have the Bills and then the Ravens ahead of them. I just think I have more faith in those teams to, perform better in the regular season and lead out like top 5 offenses.
So you have Ravens at number 1. Like I just want to clarify. So okay, Bills, Ravens. Okay. Yeah, the Jags are definitely a surprise to me. And I don't mind it though either, because I have an iffy team at the 7 spot as well. So for me, I'm gonna go 7. I have the Patriots. I've been kind of on
That's
that
fair.
hill. I've been on that hill all year. I think they're better than a lot of people are giving them credit for, and I don't think they have the hardest schedule out there either. I think they have a shot at making it. The Chiefs, I have at number 6, and that's gonna get a lot of hate. Rashee Rice out for the first 6 games. That slate, I have them going 2-4 in that slate without Rashee Rice. I think it's a really tough slate, and I think the Chargers steal one in Brazil, and that's going to be huge for this playoff race. And that's the reason why I have the Chargers one spot above them here at number 5. I think those two teams, they could be a tie, right? They could be in a tie for this playoff race, but the Chargers could have the tiebreaker here and get above them. So I'm gonna have the Chargers at 5. The 4, I'm gonna have the Texans as well. Like I said, I think that's a shoe-in kind of where they're at. I think they're definitely gonna win the division, but out of these 4 division winners, I see them having the lowest record. So
yeah, third year in a row.
Yeah, it's like that's just where they are at this point. It's kind of like the Bucks in the NFC. But anyways, number 3, I'm gonna go with the Broncos. I have them winning the division, like I've been discussing this whole episode. I just think that their team has improved significantly. The defense is gonna be really, really, really good. So I have them there. At number 2, I'm gonna have the Ravens just because of their schedule is a little bit tougher in my eyes. And the Bills, they play a tougher division, things like that. And the AFC North, you kind of always see random shit go down, right? You'll see the Browns come into town and just put belt to ass against the Ravens after they've been dominating for the last 7 weeks. So it's like random shit always happens AFC North. And then I had the Bills at number 1. I think they're one of the best regular season teams in the league by far. The playoffs, it becomes a little bit iffy for them and the Ravens, right? Like we've seen the performances go down. But I think the Bills in the regular season are going to be one of the best teams. And you always see Josh Allen and them put it together. They have an easier division than the Ravens too. So I just got to give them that number 1 spot. Moving on to the NFC here, Sterb. What's going to be your thoughts on that side?
Yeah, so at 7, I'm going to have the Vikings. We saw and we said that this situation is like perfectly tailored for a lot of quarterbacks to just like drop in and be all right in the offense, but lead this team to victories. So I have a lot of faith in JJ McCarthy, independent of that. They also have probably top 3 head coach in the league, probably one of the best defensive coordinators in the league, and Brian Flores. I have a lot of faith in this team, especially in the regular season. They might not live up to that in the playoffs just because you have an inexperienced quarterback, but I have a good amount of faith that they'll make the playoffs. And then number 6, I have the Commanders. I don't think they're going to win the division. Well, that may be not a hot take, but Jane Daniels, like if you win kind of like the same amount of games and Jane Daniels looks like he's taking a step forward, that's entirely a possibility. Like they ran really hot on 4th down last year. They ran really hot in 1-score games. And Jane Daniels is a clutch player. Like I think he did prove that, but even if he reduces that by about like 20% and you lose 1 or 2 more games, that's not crazy. And this team is pretty old, even though you have a rookie quarterback.
They are very, very old.
The defense is really old. I really don't have a lot of faith in the defense. Like Mike Sanderstill is actually like one of my favorite defensive players. But other than that, it's a little scary.
Our boy Marshawn Lattimore, maybe he's gonna.
Very true. You gotta hope you get some good play out of him. Like if they get 13 games out of him, I feel like they feel happy with that.
It was rough in the playoffs, right? When we were watching like Lattimore, he was not.
It was rough. Yeah, against AJ, it was not great.
But we didn't have to worry about it because it wasn't on our team.
If they play the Bucks, you know what he's going to do against Mike Evans.
Hell yeah, he wouldn't have let that bullshit 1,000-yard record slide. He wouldn't have let that happen. So
no.
He would have been in his face. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah. I just left off on Commanders. At 5, I have the 49ers. I feel like this, especially like coming into the regular season, they get a last place schedule in this division. I think they play the NFC South and the AFC South. So like that's an absolute cakewalk. Like, again, I don't like to like buy into like preseason schedule predictions like that much in terms of like who you're playing, how good they're going to be. Cause we see teams come out of nowhere all the time, but like there's a lot of bad teams on this 49ers schedule right now. So I think I do think they sneak in the playoffs here. And like Brock Purdy was someone for me that like everyone kind of seemed down on him last year, according to like where they viewed him in 2023 after he had that historic efficient season. And they kind of just settled where I was with Brock Purdy throughout like the 2023 and 2024 seasons. Brock Purdy last year became way more of a playmaker, way more of an improviser than he ever had to be in the 2023 offense. And he kind of led, a not as talented unit to, passable offensive numbers. So I got a lot more faith in Brock Purdy, considering last year and where I was with him in 2023. You kind of want to see how he handles adversity. So I'm a little bit more bought into the Niners than where I was like midseason last year. At number 4, I'm gonna have the Falcons, and this is kind of a hot take, but I just I cannot stand the Buccaneers. I know the Saints. I'm supposed to be like a number 1 Falcons hater over the Bucs, but Baker, I don't have a lot of faith in him. He ran very hot last year. He had like 7% touchdown percentage, which is that's not going to keep up again. You lose 2 coordinators. I know you replace the last one with a better one, but it doesn't mean that Grizzard is just going to be better than Cohen. The defense, not fantastic. It wasn't the best tackling unit. Like that NFC, the whole NFC South, like the defenses are really not good. And I think the Falcons just have more high-end personnel. You have Kyle Pitts there. No, I'm trolling. You have Bijan Robinson there. You have Drake London, who I think at this point is I would take him over Mike Evans and Godwin, not combined. But you have Darnell Mooney there, who's a bit banged up. But really, I think this team is just going to feed the absolute shit out of Bijan and then ride his coattails to a playoff appearance. This could be like this division. 9-8 could win this division very easily, and the Falcons could be a top 10 offense and a bottom 10 defense, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. So way too long of a spiel on the NFC South there. But number 3, I have the Rams. You have some concern. Oh my goodness. You have some concerns with Matthew Stafford's back and how healthy he's going to be. But you replace Devontae with Cooper Kupp. That defensive line, I've talked about it 5 times on the podcast now. That defensive line is very scary. And you have a young secondary that kind of makes a lot of mistakes in the past couple of years. But they have another year of experience under the belt. So I have a lot of faith in this team in the regular season now. Number 2, I'm going to have the Packers. You add Micah Parsons. Yep. This was already a team that I think I had them second in the NFC regardless. I just have a lot of faith in this. Yeah. I have a lot of faith in this team because they're not really weak at any one spot. There's a lot of concerns about the O-line. There's been concerns about the O-line. And they just they find 5 guys and they plug them in. It's not going to be really ever an issue. You can ride the back of Josh Jacobs, or you can air it out with Jordan Love. The interception, some people don't like that, but the lack of sacks kind of evens that out for me. And then the defense, you're hoping that Edgerrin Cooper could step up and be your defensive superstar, but now you have a top 3 defensive player in the league in Micah Parsons. So yeah, I really debated who I wanted to put 1 and 2, but at number 1, I'm going to have the Eagles. They've just shown it and they've proven it. So there's really not much to say. This is the most talented roster I've seen in the past decade. So
yeah, and they somehow always replace the talent. If they lose talent, they just grow 2 more heads, like a hydra. Like we see in the draft too.
Exactly.
They're at the worst spot to pick in the draft, and yet good value just falls in their lap every single year wherever they're at. So Howie Roseman, he's been figuring it out. He's been a really good GM for them. He's had the perfect scheme set up for them. So I'll say I have them at 1 too. But moving on from that, at number 7, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks here. I got the Seahawks making it in. I know a lot of people are a little bit lower on the Seahawks.
I thought you were down on the Seahawks.
No, I see. I feel like I've been battling back and forth. I've been fighting demons.
I think you have.
I've been fighting demons with this team, and I'm
it's the angel and the devil.
You know what? I think it'll happen because I'm not a big Darnold fan. But I'm not a big Geno fan either. And Geno led them to a 10-7 season last year. And I think Darnold, in my eyes, is probably has a higher ceiling than Geno as a quarterback. I think he has a higher ceiling as far as some of the throws that he has made. Geno Smith, though, like he balled out last year. I know you're a
See, I
big Geno
disagree.
fan. You're a big Geno guy, so I
It's not
support that.
close.
I support that, but I think Darnold can come into this offense, and also I think something that people are knocking them for is like Kubiak. I'm a little worried about Kubiak, but for the first few weeks when we were healthy, Kubiak was scheming the shit out of the Saints games. Like
Yeah,
we
I'm
saw
not
it
worried
happen.
about Kubiak.
He
I'm
was
not worried about it at
he was
all.
scheming the shit out of it. As long as the O-line and the quarterback and other receivers don't get hurt, like he'll be able to play in that offense and have them humming pretty well in my eyes. And it also depends on Kenneth Walker if he can stay healthy. But I got them going at number 7. Number 6, I'm under the Commanders as well. I think they still have a solid season, but like their division, right? You have to play the Eagles twice. The Cowboys, I could see just splitting with them just because the Cowboys offense like goes off in a game or something. Because like you said, the Commanders defense it's not the best, but it's also like it's not the worst either, but it's kind of just there. The Lions I have at number 5. I think again, basically for me, I think the Lions. I just realized you don't have the Lions in the playoffs, do you?
Yeah, I did just realize that. And looking back on it on second thought, I probably wouldn't put them in because I did have the
Really?
Lions like at 3rd in the division when we did the NFC North preview. I have a decent amount of concerns with Frank Ragnow retiring and like losing both coordinators. Aaron
Yeah.
Glenn was an absolute genius last year. Like part of the Aiden Hutchinson argument was that they lost Aiden Hutchinson and went from like 18th in defense
They
to
got
like
better.
3rd. Like Aaron Glenn was like on another level of defensive coordinator last year, which is why I wanted him in New Orleans.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. I think they'll still be. I think this also like this could be an argument for Dan Campbell to win Coach of the Year again, like or not again, but him winning this year because this is a team that everyone's sleeping on as for losing those coordinators. Everyone's kind of like, is it actually Dan Campbell being a good head coach or was it the coordinator? So this is his shot to go out there and prove everyone wrong. So I think Dan Campbell will do that. Lions at number 5. At number 4, I'm going to stay with the Bucks. I'm not a fan of either them or the Foul Clowns. I don't want to pick either of them to win the division, but I think their offense is still going to be really, really good. I think Bucky Irving will hold the ship down. I think Baker Mayfield still, like, I think he's definitely a top 13 quarterback in the league right now, which I hate. I think like his stats last year are just absolutely absurd. And you're right. Like it could, like the ship could get like go back to average again this year, could go back to the middle. But this is a year I think he has more weapons than he did last year, right? They just added Amika Egbuka. I think that kind of replaces Godwin until he's back and healthy. And then Mike Evans is still Mike Evans. Like he'll get his 1,000 yards, but I'm not getting into the whole like Hall of Fame debate right now. I'm not going to do that. But Mike Evans is still really good. Number 3, I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. I think they make it in. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the Packers. Again, I think the Packers took a big leap with going and getting Micah. They're going all in, and this is the first time like Hammer. I called him, and he was saying like he didn't expect it. He didn't expect him to just go balls to the wall, all in, chips in the middle, and this is what they're doing. So Matt LaFleur truly believes that he has the roster, and I think they'll show it this year. They'll be the number 2 seed, and then the Eagles at number 1, like I said earlier. So I don't have the 49ers in this picture. Similar to you not having the Lions in there, I think both fan bases are going to get pissed at us for that. But I think the 49ers, right, like they're a team that is really down on offense right now with the receiver room injuries. They're going to get healthy, right? They'll be fine for the season. CMC is a lottery ticket. If he gets hurt, you're screwed. I think that's another. They do have Brian Robinson now as well. They still have Isaac Rendo as like the 3rd option too. They have George Kittle. I think the offense will be solid. I'm not the biggest fan of their defense though either. It'll still be all right. Like they didn't lose too many pieces. They still have Warner there commanding it. But I think this team takes a small step back. They'll be better than they were last year. I had them maybe going like 9-8 or something like that and just missing the playoffs. Maybe they go 10-7 and tie with the Seahawks, but the Seahawks get in because they beat them twice. Or I have them just missing the playoffs and being left out. But that'll be my take on the NFC. You have any thoughts on that, Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, to those fan bases that are mad at us, just say like there are so many teams that could get in. Like who are you taking out then? You're probably just gonna like target one team and be like, oh, the Vikings shouldn't be in there. But there are so many teams that could make their case for making a wild card in the 7th seed or the 6th seed in the NFC and even the 5 seed, to be honest. Like I don't feel too much conviction with like any of these teams being 5, 6, and 7. Although I do feel pretty confident that the Vikings are going to be, at least a 7 seed. I don't think their ceiling is much higher than that, though.
Yeah. Yeah. No, just every year we kind of see with the NFC, these wild card positions or spots in the playoffs, you have 4 to 5 teams battling it out from weeks 16 to 18. So again, this is going to be something that's talked about. We're going to have people disappointed in our picks, and they're going to be talking about that in the comments. But I think these are both solid choices for the seedings. Moving on to the Super Bowl prediction here, Sterb, who's going to be your pick to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, to me, it's like 6 teams that could realistically win it in those top 3 seeds in each conference, like the Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Packers, Rams. I don't really see a team outside of that winning it. And if I gotta lean it down, it's probably like Ravens, Bills, Eagles, Packers. I've kind of wrestled with this over like the past few weeks. There were some things like holding me back out of picking the Packers out of the NFC. But now like this kind of like lined up at a perfect time for me to like pick the Packers to come out of the NFC. And then the AFC, like I probably would prefer the Bills to do it just because I like Josh Allen a little bit more. But it's really tough for me to pick against the Ravens, and looking at that roster, like they're like head to toe just so good. They have superstars everywhere. So I think it's going to be a Ravens Packers Super Bowl. And oh man. Oh jeez. We'll do this.
Stirs in turmoil.
Packers are tails, Ravens are heads.
Ask Siri, go ahead.
Flip a coin. Tails. Packers, baby.
Hey man, Hammer will be yeah, I think so. Hammer will be happy.
Yeah.
He'll be happy to hear it. Yeah,
if it's I want to pick the Packers to the Super Bowl. Like I want this roster to succeed. I love Jordan Love. They have a great head coach. They have up and down great talent. And they just add Micah Parsons. And when I did the coin flip, Hammer's going to get on me about that. Like, oh, you just should have just picked the Packers. I want to pick the Packers, Ham. But being completely unbiased, like it's a coin flip for me. So
yeah,
Packers,
that's kind of where I'm at too. I do have the Eagles making it out of the NFC, and the reasoning behind that, like I do have the Packers and the Eagles probably making it to that NFC Championship game, right? I think my issue is Jordan Love right now. I just don't trust him to not make dumb plays. He kind of reminds me of Brett Favre, right, with some of the plays that he makes and throwing across his body against the 49ers, making dumb mental mistakes against the Eagles last season. I just think it's going to happen again. I think they'll get into a tough game, close game, and he'll make the mistake that causes them the playoffs. And I know Hammer's going to be pissed at me for saying that, but I just think Jordan Love still needs a little bit of time. I think he'll be a great quarterback for you guys, for the Packers, for at least another 8 to 10 years. But for this point in time, I think the mental mistakes are still there in his game, and I don't love seeing that. And that'll come into play in a very key moment in that NFC Championship game, leading the Eagles back to the Super Bowl. For me, it's between the Ravens and the Bills, right, for the AFC. I think, like you said, the Ravens, just their roster, it's too good to pick against. I think the Bills, again, Josh Allen, great quarterback. I want to see them go win their Super Bowl because they've done so many great things in the regular season, and they get disappointed in the playoffs, right? And you saw however many years ago they lost 4 straight times in the Super Bowl. So they've had a rough time as fans for Bills Mafia out there. But the Ravens team is truly built so well around Lamar Jackson this year that I just don't see a way that they don't make it. And if they don't, this will be the biggest disappointment that Lamar Jackson has probably ever had in his career. And every single year we talk about Lamar has the better team this year. He has Derrick Henry last year, right? That was a discussion. He still couldn't make it. This year, they only added on defense, and the offense is a little bit better as well. So this is truly his year to make it. And for that, I think they make it to the Super Bowl, and I think they win the Super Bowl. I think the Ravens are going to be back this year. Harbaugh takes them back and wins another Super Bowl. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think it's an iffy pick. Like I could basically go to a coin flip as well. Like it's just really tough to pick this one. For the bettors out there, I wouldn't pick a Super Bowl winner right now. I think maybe if you have like a really long Super Bowl or like futures odds and you're picking every single championship, maybe go the Ravens.
Saints.
Yeah, put it on the Saints. That's what you want to do right there. Yeah, that's it. It's a dark horse pick. It's the Saints, but no, I
No one
think
wants to know about that.
no. I wonder what their odds are honestly for the Super Bowl. That's got to be low. But I will say I think the Ravens win the Super Bowl. Moving on from our Super Bowl picks, we're gonna make a futures bet for you guys. I'm gonna share my screen for FanDuel real quick, and we're gonna go through and we're gonna make a parlay of the futures bets for this season based on yards, touchdowns, things like that. So here, let me share my screen. All right, Sterb. Let's do this. All right. So first, we'll start with a passing milestone. We'll go. Do you want to go 4,000? Do you think anyone passes 4,500 yards again this year?
Probably, but I wouldn't feel like too good about it. Let's stick to the 4K.
Yeah. I think 4K is like a safer pick, especially when you're picking futures. But like even you see Joe Burrow minus 210, like that's not terrible odds for making that pick. But who would you pick multiple or just a guy here?
Let's just pick one guy here. Do you mind clicking the show more?
Yeah. You want a dark horse here? Is that what we're going?
Maybe not like dark horse, but I mean, honestly, like Bo Nix at plus 210, I feel pretty good about that.
Solid.
Yeah,
I like
he's got a lot of weapons in the offense, and it's kind of like a Packers or Bills situation. You kind of just want to bet on the quarterback and like the general health of the offense rather than like betting on a Harvey prop or a Pat Bryant prop or a Cortland Sutton prop. Like it's just not going to be as fun as like picking Bo Nix here. And Ty will be happy about this as well.
No, I like it. I think it's a good pick to start off. Moving on to receiving yards here, I'll go to the plus 1250 because I think 1,000, right? Like we were discussing this the other day, and we're going to have a quick discussion to end the episode. That's just going to be a bonus discussion at the end of this. But the 1250, like I'll say this, 1,000 yards is only 60 games on average, a 60 yards a game on average for a receiver. So it's not too impressive, but 1250, that's where you really want to be. And I think it's got to be between these top three. You might say Nico here. Would you say Nico is plus 1250? I think that's not.
Yeah, I would absolutely pick Nico, but we kind of talked about that already. Like I feel very good about CD. Like this is kind of like the NFC Bengals. Like minus 115 is a little crazy. I think he was at like 1,700 2 years ago. He kind of really needs to get injured for like 4 games for him to hit below this line, which is it's possible, but I feel good that he's gonna pass this by a decent mark.
Yeah, let's go with CD here. It makes, immediately you see the odds bump up there. Moving on to rushing yards, Sterb. What yards do you want to
you take the lead on this one.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go 1250. I think that's kind of like the middle of the pack. I think 1,500, right? You see, like that's the upper echelon of running backs. Only a few guys can do that. 1250 is a little bit more realistic here. And how many did Josh Jacobs have last year? One sec. Let's see Josh Jacobs' stats. I think he got over it last year. I want to take. To me, it's between Josh Jacobs or Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan's pretty much a shoo-in for 1250. They're going to be given the ball a whole lot. I don't like Devon Achane. I don't like
Achane's really high up here.
Yeah, like I'm just not a fan. I think both of those guys are iffy with injuries. Gibbs is a solid pick, but for me, I'm really liking the Josh Jacobs here at plus 185. What are your thoughts on that, Sterb?
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. Like maybe Gibbs, but like the odds kind of show my leaning towards Gibbs there. So I don't hate either of those.
Yeah, I think Jacobs here will bump us up a good amount and not be a bad pick. Moving on to passing touchdowns here. 30 is 30 is a good amount with the too high shell that we've seen in the NFL at this point. What are your thoughts? You want to go 30?
Let's check out 35, and then if it's not looking good, let's go to 30.
Hey, Baker is second in odds to pass 35 touchdowns
at
plus 195. That's kind of wild. Yeah, I'll just show more too. I think Dak isn't bad.
Yeah, like Dak, am I in like Purdy here? Like Dak I do feel good about. But the thing with Dak is that like it does like it doesn't just multiply your odds, like it'll multiply and then decrease them a little bit because the CD Lamb is correlated. Oh man. All right, you picked this one too.
I'm picking all. I would go Jared Goff, Josh Allen, or Dak. But like you said, Dak kind of decreases our odds here. Who do we have? CD and Josh.
I like Goff. I like Goff.
I think it's a pretty sure pick. They pass pretty much. I mean, we've seen him the last few years. His production is absolutely absurd. And then let's move on to
Jameer's going to be on the field more. They might be passing a little more.
The screen game.
You get more dump offs to Jahmyr Gibbs. It could be a couple more touchdowns.
Yeah, and I think Laporta also will kind of have a better year production wise than he did last year as far as touchdowns go. Moving on to receiving touchdowns here, Sterb. You got 6, 8, 10, or 12. What do you want to pick?
Ooh, I got to pick for this one, but I want to see the odds first. Let's look at 12 here.
12. Okay.
Oh man, he's not even here.
Who do you got?
Go show more.
Oh, Nico?
No, I was going to go BTJ. He's way down there.
He's at plus. That's got to be because way down there. It's got to be because of the Travis Hunter. Maybe they think he's kind of splitting that a little bit more.
Yeah, but you get Trevor Lawrence back, you get Liam Cohen. There's a lot more bump than reduction from Travis Hunter there. Let's look at 10 though and see how it's looking.
10's a little bit more achievable here. Let's see. BTJ. He's still same spot, but just higher odds.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Another one I might like is Drake London. Kind of just like a big touchdown guy, but I probably would go BTJ here if we want to lessen the odds a little bit. If we don't want that plus 240 on the bet slip, then maybe we go 8 touchdowns. Let's see how it's looking for 8 touchdowns. Actually,
let's see it. It's got to be plus still.
It still should be plus, but I feel very good about that. I'll let you make the decision here. I feel confident that he's probably going to get 12.
Let's see. What does that put our ticket at? It doubles it. Yeah, I would say BTJ at 8. I think 8's solid. Because if you do see Hunter come in, maybe grab a couple from him, and then maybe also Strange comes in and they increase his production, like maybe that target share is going down a little bit down in the red zone. So in the deep plays, but I think he'll still have. I think he passes 8 for sure. He had 12 last year? 10?
I'm trying to look it up right now. I think it was 12.
Yeah, I think he was just on the dot at 12 last year. But I think 8 is definitely a safer pick than picking 10 or 12. Moving on to rushing touchdowns.
He had 10 last year.
10, yeah. I think we're in a good spot then, taking the 8. Jalen Hurts is at the top of the 10-plus rushing touchdowns just because of the tush push, man. Just a tush push. What is this doing to our game?
That makes sense.
This should be a running back. Even Josh Allen is at 10, which
it is.
That's a little wild. I kind of want to. The 8 is the odds I'm not loving. 10 for me, it's got to. I would say Kyron or Josh. We already have Josh. I would go Kyron here. I think he's kind of a running back, the red zone magnet. But I know you don't like Kyron.
I don't feel that.
You don't like Kyron.
Yeah, I don't feel great about Kyron. I don't really feel good about any of these, to be honest.
10 is high this year. I think.
Oh, okay. There's still. I thought they were getting into plus odds at the bottom of the screen there.
No. Yeah.
It keeps growing a little bit.
You got. Ooh, I do like Chase Brown if it was total touchdowns, but rushing, that's a little bit iffy.
Yeah.
I wish it was total.
I do feel pretty good about Bucky. Maybe you don't want to go like total odds there, but like I feel like Bucky is gonna break a few and like score for touchdowns.
He had 8 last year.
He had 8 last year, but he really got like he didn't really see like a good amount of work until like week 8. Like he really, and I think some of his touchdowns were receiving last year as well.
Here, let me ask. Yeah, they were definitely a couple receiving in there, but I want to say like he's minus.
It is backloaded.
Minus 130 for 8 rushing touchdowns. You think what do you think about those odds?
Yeah, that feels good.
Okay. Yeah, we'll pick Bucky here. I'm also like eyeing like a guy like Ashton Genty. Like I feel like he should be able to get 8 because they'll be in the red zone and they'll just hand it off to him. But I think Bucky here is a good pick. That gets us to
For
plus
sure.
13,795. Let's throw a bonus bet on there. Add reward. So $5 will win $689 for Bo Nix, 4,000 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 1,250. Josh Jacobs, 1,250. Jared Goff, 30 touchdowns. Brian Thomas Jr., 8 touchdowns. And Bucky Irving, 8 touchdowns as well. I'm going to place that in there. So you guys don't think we're just betting at our ass here. We'll put some money on it for the Jenks Island fans out there. Bonus. Yeah. This is real money, guys.
It's not actual money.
This is real money right here. No, I'm not even going to go into how I got that bonus bet. I got screwed.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, how'd you get that?
So, college football last week, I had a bet that I really, really liked. I felt confident about it. It was Iowa State money line, right? They won. They eked out the win over Kansas State. Great. I was like, Iowa State, I always bet against them. They always screw me. So I'm picking them this time. They won. Then I pick Hawaii and they win. And then I go and pick Kansas team total over. And I need 1 point. And they're at I needed 1 point with there's either
like a minute 30 left.
Well, there was 10 minutes left when I first needed 1 point.
Oh, really?
Only. There was 10 minutes. They drove to the red zone one time, went to the 15, got to the 15-yard line, went for a 4th and 2, got stuffed. I was like, okay, we still have a decent shot. They punt the next drive. I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm screwed. There's like 3 minutes left in the game. They go down, and I'm blanking on who they were playing, right? But they go for it. The other team goes for it at their own 15 on 4th down. Kansas gets the stop, puts in a backup quarterback, runs a play. He gets to the 1-yard line, and then they decide, yeah, we didn't actually want to score. So they kneel it out on the 1-yard line with a minute left to go, and I just get screwed out of my bet. So I have that $5 bonus bet, and that's what we're playing for this parlay. So in the end, bonus bets are still real money, guys. Let's not hate on the bonus bets here. I think that's you guys can still see the merit that we're putting out there. So I think you guys should place the bet as well. Anyways, that'll do it for our discussion about all of that. I want to say really quick, Ethan and I had a discussion about DK Metcalf being a 1,000-yard receiver. And I say that he is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver, and Sterb says he's not. So let me ask the question, Sterb. Is DK Metcalf a 1,000-yard receiver, yes or no?
No, he's not going to be a 1,000-yard receiver this year.
I think you're out of your mind.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Why do you say that?
Well, I really don't have a whole lot of faith in the Steelers offense as a whole. I still think Aaron Rodgers is like serviceable as
definitely.
Like as a quarterback. But I also think like DK, if he's the only real target you have to deal with as a defense, he is very, very easy to game plan against, and he's very easy to bracket. He's really not a good route runner. He's not a contested catch threat, to much people's surprise. And like another thing we were saying, I think we might have mentioned in like a previous podcast, but I would firmly take George Pickens over him, talent wise, fantasy wise, just like everything for this upcoming year. And, you're swapping out a worse wideout in the Steelers offense. You had DK and George Pickens for like, I don't know, like a day or something like that. It
would have been electric, man. It would have been.
It would have been like a really weird wide receiver duo. That's what it would have been. It was like
been something.
You would have been scared to play them, not for their stats, but like scared to play them.
Get beat the shit out of after a DPI.
Yeah, yeah. But I really think like DK is just like living off like a couple seasons where he's like really fast, and he's very hyped up because he's in the media a lot. I don't like hate DK as a person or anything. I think he's just like incredibly overrated as a wide receiver. Like he really doesn't have any specific elite trait at this point, and he has glaring weaknesses in his game. And those glaring weaknesses, like I said, are very easy to game plan against. So, if he was like a second threat to CeeDee Lamb, maybe I would feel actually maybe even a little better than, the situation right now, but I don't. So.
All right, Sterb. Let me spit some knowledge. All right. Let me spit some knowledge here about DK. 1,000 yards in 3 out of his 6 seasons. In the 3 seasons that he didn't hit it, he had 992, 967, and then 900 last season or in 2019. This year, he's going into an offense where he's the only real like threat receiver wise. I think he is the best receiver by far. And I think he'll be able to hit that 1,000 yard mark because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw him the ball a good amount. And we saw Aaron Rodgers' connection with Davante Adams, right, come alive at the end of the season last year. I'm not saying it's going to be a Davante Adams, Aaron Rodgers connection, but it's definitely going to be someone he trusts and is willing to throw the ball up to more than anyone else on that team. I think 1,000 yards, as I was mentioning earlier as well, it's only 60 yards on average per game. I think it's really, really easily attainable. Last year, only had 66 receptions. That number is only going to go up this year. So I think he will break the 1,000 yard mark pretty easily this year. But I respect the take that he won't get it. But I also think there's a little bit of hate in there, a little bit of hate against DK. But
I mean, it's against consensus for sure. But like I think his line on Vegas is like 950 or something. So, I don't think it's that crazy. But in like the public side, then maybe. Guys who hit like 1,000 yards last year, there were 24 guys. So a good amount of guys. Like
Jerry Jeudy did it.
Darnell Mooney just missed it. DK just missed it with like 8. Yeah. Jerry Jeudy.
He's doing it again.
Yeah,
I hope you know.
DK Metcalf might be like the only receiver that's like, oh, sorry. This is 24 total guys, not just wide receivers. I was looking at that incorrectly. But anyways, like, yeah, I just don't have a whole lot of faith in him. Like he's very easy to guard as a 1. And like I know you mentioned like the mind meld between Davante and Aaron Rodgers, but that's, they've been working on that for years. And like Davante's strengths play more into Rodgers' game than DK's. Like DK
definitely has better routes.
He can't really get off a press that much, like he's not shifty. He kind of just runs in a straight line and is good on some posts and like some slants and whatnot. But really what he does doesn't pair well with Rodgers and is not tailored to like being a wide receiver 1 in the serious offense.
That's fair. But I think we do have $20 on this, so it's not like we're just this is a serious debate that we've had previously. I just
it's not a bonus bet.
Yeah, no, this is not a bonus bet. $20 cold hard cash bet between us. So Sterb and I have been talking about this for a little while. I just wanted to give it to the audience to talk about and comment down below if you guys think Pickens is or is not a 1,000 yard receiver. I will say, I just mentioned him earlier.
Pickens
I
and
think
DK.
Pickens definitely will. I think that Pickens will definitely get close to 1,000. If he doesn't, it'll be like a pretty marginal shortage, but I think he'll be able to reach it too, just with that offense. They're going to be throwing the ball all over the place. Similar like T. Higgins in Cincinnati. I will say, I think Jerry Jeudy does it as well. That was another guy that I think definitely will hit.
He's not doing it.
Definitely will hit 1,000 yards with, especially if Joe Flacco.
I'll put 20 on that as well.
I'll think about it. But I do think that Jerry Jeudy is a guy that can hit 1,000 yards again this year. He had 1,200 last year, and Joe Flacco is definitely like a guy that he gets the receivers their stats. So I'll
more than Jameis though.
Not more than Jameis, but he'll do it. He'll give the ball to his receivers. He'll give them production that they want. But it might not lead to the prettiest wins or the prettiest losses, but he'll give them the ball. Anyways, that'll do it for our predictions episode for the upcoming 2025 season. Next week, we're going to be giving our week 1 pick'em episode, the first one of the season. That's exciting. The season is right around the corner. It's a week away from when we're recording this, and it'll be just under a week when you guys are getting this on Friday morning. So you guys know where to check us out on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts at Jenks Island, and then at Instagram or whatever other social media you guys use at Jenks Island as well. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week.